Do you have a great idea for a podcast? Or maybe you already have a podcast, but you're getting overwhelmed with editing or production? Head over to EndeavorPodcastSolutions.com. They have everything you need, from intros and outros to editing work, voiceover, you name it. That's EndeavorPodcastSolutions.com. Podcasting simplified.
Pretending something didn't happen doesn't make it go away. Drawing an insane picture with a marker doesn't make it true. Banning books doesn't stop people from reading them. A demonstration isn't going to make people change their sexual orientation. And throwing rocks at the demonstrators isn't going to change their minds. Complaining that a joke offended you doesn't make it not funny. It would be a wonderful world if everyone would mind their own business, leave others alone, take responsibility for their mistakes, not be offended by obvious jokes, and just be happy in their own life and not worry so much about what others do and say if it doesn't affect them. But we don't live in that world and sadly don't think we ever will. And the people and things we're going to talk about tonight sadly proves that point. But there's nothing better than finding the funny stuff in the ridiculousness of it all. And that's what we're going to do. So Maestro, hit that music.
Welcome back to Needless to Say. I'm Dave, and I'm here with two projected tracks for life that were way off.
Like that joke.
All right, yeah.
We waited fucking 10 minutes for that.
I wrote that on a poster and everything.
Let's pull back the curtain for a second. Dave didn't have a clever thing to say.
Yeah, no. I had nothing.
We gave him 10 minutes to be clever.
That was it.
That was it. That was the net sum of Dave's
Life's
10
given
minutes.
him fucking 40 years.
That's
Jesus, that was horrible. Do it again.
That was.
It's just the three of us this week. You don't have Matt to lean on this
I
time.
got nothing to lean on.
Yep.
I've got nothing.
Nothing.
No, it's showing. It's painfully obvious.
I would say leaning on your wife, but you don't even do that.
He more leans into her.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel, cuz?
Fuck off.
Yeah, just use the back
Set
of her neck
myself
for a
up.
little leverage. I'm good. It's funny, that's how my week started, too.
And you know what, amazingly enough, it creates a nice segue.
It does.
I'd like to raise a glass to last week's episode.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
To Matt and Rayanne for an absolutely amazing
A
time.
lot of fun. I had
Probably
a
one of the
blast.
best episodes we've done in a while.
Yeah.
No, you
Yeah.
could have ended that sentence at
Best
Done.
episodes.
Yeah.
Period.
No, that was a lot of fun. That's why, I mean, we recorded for so long, and we try to keep our episodes down to like 90 minutes. Doesn't always happen. But that was just, I couldn't, we recorded 3 hours of stuff. I got it down to what, 2.5 hours? Because there was nothing I wanted to cut out.
No.
I was like, I don't want to cut that out. I don't
Well,
want
the
to cut
trick
this.
is, and I mean, it's easy to say this being on the show, if you masturbatory and like to listen to your own voice,
Yep.
everything flies when you think it's good.
Yeah.
But honestly, I've gotten some feedback already from friends, and the feedback is that flew by.
Oh, yeah.
Uncle Ray is radio gold.
Yeah.
And honestly, so is your cousin.
Yeah.
And her brother. I mean, the two of them are phenomenal. I know that all week long Ray was saying how natural Matt seemed.
Yeah.
Ray, you're also a natural.
Yeah.
And there's always extra chairs around the table to just say the word.
Yeah.
Just say
No, definitely. It was just, they slide right in, and it's perfect.
Dave, go.
You know?
Take the
Yeah,
job.
I saw that.
God, fucking son of a
Fucking
bitch.
layup.
As soon as I said it, I was like, God damn it.
If you can
shit.
like put some white snake behind that, slide it in.
All right, how was your week, you fucking dicks? Hope it sucked.
No,
We'll start with Dave because we know how it got off.
it was Usher that got it started. No.
Yeah.
So no, my week was all right. I was joking. I put some notes on there. It said, "Oh, started off with a bang." I put that
Yeah.
on there Sunday.
Yeah.
So let me let this ride for days, just so I can make one joke to Craig before we started.
By the way, that was also a good joke.
Yeah.
So no, my
We're making Dave out to be like a thoroughbred.
right?
Yeah.
No,
Right?
it was
Fucking secretariat.
one verse of the song. My house got done being sided,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
It looks good.
They actually finished up today, which is awesome. And
So did Dave and Ray.
hey, but up.
What's great is he didn't lose anybody to altitude sickness or nothing.
No, and our friend now, I can say our friend now because I've met George, and I told him I'd give him a plug. He did an outstanding job. So George Adams did an awesome job on the house.
He does good work.
And he also told me, I asked him if you guys want, jump on Facebook. You guys can if you know who we are, you can find me, and we posted pictures. But George does excellent work with the siding. His phone number, if you want to get hold of him. I know you guys are looking at me like, oh shit, George gave me the okay.
Yeah.
He's in Rhode Island. He's 279-2300. But he did a bang up job on the house. It looks like a brand new house.
And I can tell you this now, George did the old house I was in.
Yep.
And to show you just how tight-knit a community this is, the landlords hired him remotely from Minnesota.
No shit.
It's just amazing how word of mouth works around here. So but we couldn't be happier, and he did that in January.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
he goes year round. He doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and he told me on Saturday, he's like, I won't be here Monday.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said,
very
I
honest.
like you.
Yeah.
But he is. He never bullshitted me. He's like, I can probably start around this time, and within a week of that time, he started.
Yep.
It's like it'll take about 2 weeks, and we were 13 days.
Yeah.
2 weeks, and it just every day he and his guys showed up. They did their work, let me know what's going on, and if I had questions, or he was right on top of it. Did a fucking bang up job. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the house looks
And
great.
you guys fucking. Dave sends me a text.
Oh, oh yeah.
Right, and he's like, "Hey, what's up with your buddy George?" He goes, "I paid him last Monday to start, and he hasn't showed up yet." And this is like the following Tuesday.
Yeah, it's like a week later.
And I'm like, "What?" Right away, I was like, "No," I'm like, "No, that's not like George." I was like, "Something, something's going on either." And I'm thinking in my head, either you misunderstood what he said or something like that. So I was like, "You want me to contact?" And then I get a picture of George flipping me off
In my backyard.
In his backyard, he's working. I'm like,
The best part is George's idea is like, you talked to Greg? I said, yeah. He goes, all right, do this.
yeah. I'm like, what the fuck?
Wow.
Yeah.
I like anybody who works for a tip. I really do. He didn't do that with me, but he didn't know I knew this fucking idiot over
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
So who knows?
I've known George for a long time, and I've seen lots of work that he's done. He's good. He's good at what he
Dave,
does.
give us the number again.
401-279-2300.
Outstanding. And that, again, that's George Adams.
You got it.
Craig, how was your week, brother?
Well, seeing how I started off writing in the document, filling this out while waiting in the parking lot for AAA at the local grocery store because my key broke and it's locked in my truck.
Preface this
Yes.
with your habits. What do you usually do? Like most Rhode Islanders.
You're jumping to that conclusion. I leave my keys in my truck all the time. I do. Depends where I am. In your driveway, yes. You know what I mean? I'll leave my keys in my truck, but my windows are either down.
Wait, you didn't see that black guy patrolling? Oh, no, that was EJ. Never mind.
Yeah.
Shout out to EJ Edmonds. Fuck that guy.
Things like that. Like I'll just leave my keys in the truck because I'm not gonna lug them around because I get a lot.
Lug them around.
Well, no, I get
It's a key.
no.
You call me fucking lazy for not picking up a goddamn top. It's a key.
My keychain is ridiculous. My key. This is half of my keys.
There are 3 keys on it.
No, that's.
So you have 6 keys. It's too
I
heavy
have-
for you to lug
I got
around.
a lot of shit. So anyway, what happened was, you fucking assholes.
I'm backing up.
No, what happened was, you know the plastic top on a key,
Yes.
the top, where the key ring goes through, that piece cracked about 2 weeks ago. So it's kind of been like
you knew it cracked 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but I thought it would still hang on for the next 6 years that I'm going to own the truck, right?
So I'm going to refer you back to your family motto. Whose fault is it really, Craig?
So I get out of the truck. Because I'm in a grocery store, I'm in the parking lot, I lock the doors.
You bring the key with you
I bring
now.
my keys with me, and I go in. And then when I come back out, I got the groceries in my hand. I throw, put them in the back of the truck, and I take my keys out of my pocket, and I go to unlock the door. I don't have my truck key.
Like, oh, it must be in the truck where it always is.
No, it fell off. I locked the doors. It was supposed to be on my key ring, and I look on the floor in the truck, and there it is. Just sitting on the floor. It fell off right when I took it out of the thing. It fell off on the floor.
I felt bad for you when I was reading the exchange we were having in text. I don't anymore because you knew it was cracked 2 weeks ago.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't cracked that bad.
Now you had the audacity to be surprised that it actually fell off the key ring.
Well, the crack wasn't that big.
Yes, trusting the ingenuity of Chinese plastic on a 5-cent keyring. Way to go.
So, yeah, but see, I didn't text you guys this because it gets better.
Well, I'm already on Team Dave, so it ain't going to change anything.
So I'm furious because I've locked my keys in my car one other time. I was probably about 22 years old. And I locked my keys in my car while yelling at Fran because I was driving her a spare key because she locked her keys in the car.
No, you didn't.
Yes. I got out to hand her her keys and turned around and my keys were in my car as I'm yelling at her. Like, how could you do that? This is so irresponsible. And I turn around and my fucking door's shut and the door's locked. I'm like, fuck.
And you probably had the balls to turn around. Look what you made me do.
Well, yeah, of course I did. But the good thing was she had the key. She had the spare key on her keychain that I brought to her.
Did she let you use it?
Yeah. Oh, it was close.
Yeah.
It was fucking close. There was an argument about that. But pretty much my week wrapped in a nutshell.
All right. Yeah. All right.
So, yeah, it was good.
Brad, how was your week? You seemed a little stressed tonight when we showed up.
A little stressed. Work's tough. Work's busy. I'm not going to pull a Craig and talk about that anymore, but I've been pulling some, midnight oil.
God.
That's all I've got. Nobody else died this week, so I've got a pretty short week in review.
Yeah.
But hey, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I've heard there was a country music singer that died, but she was a Dee-Wee queen, so she doesn't get my attention.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, shit.
And Christ is king.
She died in a car wreck, right?
She died in a head-on car wreck, which means that she was going somewhere where her car didn't belong. Yeah. And she had 3 other Dee-Wees on her record or something like that.
Oh, really?
She was a 30-year-old burgeoning country star, which is, like being the next best gymnast.
Yeah.
Who really gives a fuck? I really don't fucking care. I hate to see her die. She was young. She was pretty. She might have been talented, but
she had it coming with
3 Dee-Wees.
Yeah, 3. Yeah.
Sorry, you're kind of asking for this, and you may have killed somebody else.
Yeah.
So go to hell.
No fucking sympathy. I'm with you 100%.
Go to hell. Say hi to Valerie.
Oh, shit.
I know a guy down there who can get you a deal on a fucking sofa.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
So a lot of stuff happening this week.
Yeah.
So, other than that, we had a massive hurricane just annihilate the Bahamas.
Don't talk about it in the past tense. By the time this thing hits the air, it's probably going to still be in Maryland.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. It
leveled the Bahamas.
It leveled the Bahamas. It just sat there. It was incredible.
It did. It
1 mile per hour. 1.
But at one point,
Dave moves faster than 1 mile per hour.
Me picking up a towel faster than Hurricane Dorian.
At one point, that 1 mile per hour was in just a clockwise motion. It was just doing a circle.
It was just sitting there.
It sat.
It was like a top spinning over the top of.
I was like, oh my God. And I'm like, these poor fucking people, man. It was just.
And we're not talking first world construction standards. We're talking like a lot of shanties and buildings that were not designed to withstand.
But even the first world stuff came down.
Came down.
It did.
There's a lot of American expats in the Bahamas.
Were.
Well, no, they're still there, but they're rebuilding just like everybody else. A lot of fishermen, a lot of people, retirees.
They showed a marina. I mean, there was not a boat floating.
No.
And if it was floating, it was upside down.
It's now a man-made reef, essentially, is what it is.
It was, I mean, they got devastated.
And, what's crazy is we're still rebuilding Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Or actually,
we're not rebuilding.
Let me rephrase
it.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Somebody's rebuilding Puerto Rico. What is going to happen with the Bahamas, which belongs to the United Kingdom for the most part, right? Or are they independent now?
French,
actually, they're an independent nation. Right?
Isn't it French?
No, that's Guyana.
Oh,
it is.
No, I know. But
You're laughing.
No,
I'm
I
making
thought
that up.
a lot of people in the Bahamas are French, though, aren't they?
I imagine there's a whole bevy of people down there because it's like kind of a cornucopia of, like a mixing pot. Wait a minute, I was describing the original plan for America. I'm sorry.
Yep. Yeah.
big boner on my part.
But it doesn't matter who fucking owns it.
I think they're their own country.
Yeah, but I believe they were owned by but they were part of the United Kingdom for the longest time.
Gotcha.
And so either way, there's a big British influence there.
Yeah.
There's a tremendous African influence in the Bahamas.
It was Britain.
It was Britain.
Yeah, it was Britain. They in the 70s they split.
And then, and now who do they turn to for help? If we can't even help our own Commonwealth, we're certainly not going to be extending anything to the Bahamas unless there's a golf resort that really needs to be saved.
Of course, that's the thing. That is the thing. We will, because it's such a huge destination.
Yeah, this financial implications.
There's financial implications. I mean,
Puerto Rico was too.
It was too for that one beach. That's awesome. I've been there. I went there. It was, I don't know what the big fascination with it was. It wasn't. I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter. I feel for those people too. You know what I mean? I mean, shit. How long's it been now? Those people.
That was 3 years ago. Yeah, and we're still waiting on relief.
But it doesn't.
2/3 of the island.
It doesn't matter. They're part of the United States. They should have been taken care of immediately.
For the record, Massachusetts and Virginia are also commonwealths.
Yeah.
So if a hurricane comes blowing up the East Coast like it is right now as we speak, are we going to get the same level of attention in Massachusetts? Dave, you're from there. I mean, I don't know. Rhode Island's a state, so I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah. No, it's just it's fucked up. But watch, the Bahamas will recover a little quicker than fucking
agreed. Yep.
Than Puerto Rico.
Their poverty level was much lower.
Yeah.
Than it is in Puerto Rico. They don't have the resources in Puerto Rico. They should, because they exist here.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, they belong to us.
Yep.
But anyway, so it was a sad week, but that's not why we're bringing it up. You don't need us a week and a half later to tell you that a hurricane destroying an island nation was a sad event.
No.
But however, our fearless leader, a guy we've actually defended on several occasions when he's done something right, rare but true.
Yep.
Decided that the Sharpie was his weapon of choice this week. Put down the 9-iron and broke out the Sharpie.
Yep.
And Dave, go with us.
So, the headline we all grabbed onto was "Anatomy of a Fiasco," which I think is a great term.
Yeah.
And they went on to describe it.
It was a great term for his term.
Yeah. That's actually fair. Yeah. A detailed timeline of Trump's Alabama map meltdown.
Yeah.
And that's what it was.
It was insane.
The guy had an inaccurate map. And it could have been as simple as, oh, yeah, that map was wrong. My apologies. I should have shown you this.
Yeah.
Done.
And then basically whipped out a crayon drawing of the United States with no states filled in.
Yeah. He could have fucking picture paged his way out of this with that map.
I was expecting that sound.
Yeah.
I really was. And I have no doubt he's got Bill Cosby on his payroll. So
and he was making the sound in his head while he was doing it too. Yeah.
It's just I was like, why can't he say, "Hey, I'm sorry, I misspoke," or I made a mistake.
Well, that's the problem. He's fighting this.
He can't. He's still fighting it.
I mean, the thing just hit North Carolina, and he's still convinced it's going to hit the brakes, do a 3-point turn, and still level Alabama.
Yeah, and to a point where the emergency management in Alabama is like, "Hey, listen, we're fine.
Yeah,
don't worry about it. We're not going to see any effects of this. It's okay. Don't listen to our leader." Basically,
it's like, of all things to dig your heels in on and fight, no, it's gonna why are you so dug in on this?
Well, Alabama's feeling good because they're like, well, he's got our back, and also, we ain't be aborting no babies.
Yeah.
So God is clearly looking out for us. So Trump's projections, I don't know, those were his people.
Yeah.
Very surprised he was predicting such doom.
It's just so funny that his ego is so
That's
fucking
the thing. He
huge
can't admit to being wrong.
It's
Huge.
But he can't just say, "I made a mistake." Okay, whatever. I thought it was I thought that's, I saw something. I assumed that was the path. It's not. Let the weather service take care of it.
Yeah. Did you see when he got criticized the week before? They were saying, the storm is destroying the Bahamas and you're playing golf.
Yeah.
And his response was not to say, "Oh, it was a bad decision on my part." His response was say, "I played the back 9 and it's a quick 9 if you've ever played the course."
Yeah.
I'm not making this up.
No, I know.
He said it's a short 9 and I got right back to work.
See, but he's that rich jock frat boy,
so
that's
out
never
of touch.
wrong.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. He can't be wrong. He'll deflect it to something that he's right about.
I have been accused of this on this show. I want my name removed from that category of people. I've admitted I'm wrong plenty more than Donald Trump,
absolutely.
and I have never made weather predictions that have misled millions. With a fucking Sharpie.
I mean, like
and
I
a
said,
jagged line, by the way. You think if you're going to break out a Sharpie on national television, at least have your steady hand skills.
Practice once or twice.
Yes.
The funny thing is because I say this all the time about him, is he outshadows any good that he ever does by doing something so fucking stupid and making us look like assholes to the world.
Like this,
making himself and this country look like assholes to the world. He just signed a bipartisan bill, a huge one, to extend the national park, the protection of national parks, the Joshua Tree area, all that stuff. So there's no logging, no roads can be built, all this stuff, protected areas, all this stuff. And it was a bipartisan bill, and he signed it and passed it, and it was this big thing, but nobody knows about because he's fucking talking about the back 9 of a golf course.
Yep.
Or drawing fucking fake pictures of a country.
I think he preserved that just to replace all the trees that got blown out in the Bahamas golf course.
Yeah.
He's just going to have them all flown from Joshua Tree National Park. And then he's going to thank you, too, for making it possible.
Yeah.
Honestly, I defended the guy whenever. I've gotten into, drop-down, drag-out arguments with my wife, who is a staunch Democrat. And I mean, I'm no card-carrying Republican, but I tend to lean certain ways.
Yeah,
fiscally, you know?
Yeah.
And I always hated, I was always raised, it didn't matter Republican or Democrat, you support your president.
Yes.
And that was always the way. Show some respect for the office, if nothing else.
Yeah,
it's an office, a position. It's not a person.
He has crossed that line with me. And honestly, I just can't anymore. I really used to defend when he was right, he made some good decisions. But like Craig mentioned, it's all overshadowed by the fact that he can't get his fat fucking fingers off of Twitter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he can't keep his fat fucking foot out of his fatter fucking mouth.
Yep.
So I'm kind of done with defending
him. You can't.
And what's sad is he's still going to probably fucking win because the Democrats can't find a candidate to step up to him. Sneaky Joe Biden is suddenly perv of the month.
And the worst part is you could probably run in the campaign as not Trump. That could be your fucking slogan.
I'm Phil Nut Trump.
And
it's Dutch.
Yeah, but they got Joe Biden all groping up little girls and shit.
You know what's crazy is 25 years ago, Democrats were all over pervy white guys. They really were.
Yeah.
They love pervy old white guys. That, and if Joe Biden played a saxophone, they might still sway them. I don't know. Let's find out what Arsenio's doing just to put him over the edge. But honestly, Elizabeth Warren, a friend of mine actually who doesn't listen to this show because she'd hate all of us. But because I value her friendship, I don't let her know we do this show.
Yep.
And she made a great point today. She said, as good as Elizabeth Warren might be for the Democratic Party, she's still an old white woman. Mm-hmm. And it didn't work last time. So
isn't she like mostly Indian? Isn't she mostly Native American?
I don't know. Ask Dave.
Yeah.
Ask Dave's dad.
Now, wasn't that a big thing with her?
Oh, yeah.
It was Elizabeth
It was
Warren.
Elizabeth Warren.
I would love to see Dave's family show up in an Elizabeth Warren rally and Dave's dad just shielding all of them.
Back up.
Just usher them off to the right. Just past security.
Let them put their tears on their pancakes.
Yeah. But yeah, it's true. It is. It's just, it's insane that the biggest thing, and I said this 1,000 times, not to get into politics and stuff, but it's fucking term limits, man.
Yeah.
We need them.
For everybody.
We need them.
I also think we need age limits. I hate to say it, but this is a country that needs somebody more progressive than the 78-year-old guy who's never, ever worked for $1. I'm not saying Donald Trump didn't earn a lot of his money, but I also know he lost a lot of it.
Yep.
I also know that he never really worried about money. If Donald Trump was just a dummy who dropped out of military school because he had like a hangnail, which is, I believe, the story, I don't understand. He doesn't understand, I should say, that there's life outside of richness. He's never lived that life, and I don't think that's the kind of guy, in retrospect, to lead this country. We all approached this election as people who didn't want politicians, and that's why he got into office.
Yeah.
You can say no low voter turnout or this or that. A good chunk of the working men in this country wanted not a politician. What they didn't realize is the one guy that they thought was representing him was a guy who's never really worked an honest day in his life.
Yeah. That's why I say, I think not only term limits, but what if you just lowered the pay for whatever it is, whatever senator or all that shit to the national average income. And you said, this is the national average.
I don't think
this
that's
is what
fair.
the pay is. No.
They do more work than
do,
the average guy.
No, they do. They do. But if you said this, I mean, not necessarily, but they also get a lot more benefits than the average guy, So, and then, I mean, I'm not saying the president should be making, what is it, $38,000 a year or something like that, or whatever. It's probably not even that.
Yeah.
But
just live in the trailer next to the White
yeah,
House.
exactly. No, but they're living in the White House and they're getting all this stuff. But I mean, like senators, they get like $100 and something thousand a year to renovate their offices.
Yeah,
that's fucking ridiculous, And but if you said as a senator, as this and that, it's the national average. That is your pay plus benefits. You would get people that really want to do something for the country in that office.
And I also think youth has to do with it. I actually kind of got sent astray on my last point, but I do think age really matters.
No, yeah.
Again, one of the reasons Obama was so resonant with this country, it wasn't so much because he did everything right. He didn't.
He was young.
He was young. He reflected more of the country that was still actively voting. Mm-hmm. Putting a 71-year-old billionaire in office doesn't really reflect the needs of the country, no matter how they voted in the last election. I don't think Bernie Sanders covers that because he's now batshit crazy.
Yeah, and if any of those guys just fuck up while they're in office, they go back to their life and they don't see the repercussions.
They don't see it. They'll never suffer the recession.
Because it's 8 years on average based on the current economic policy.
Yeah.
It's 8 years later is when it actually hits.
Yeah.
I am concerned that we're putting up too many old politicians. You know, you got this Buttigieg guy who it seems to be affecting people. And again, we're not going to get too deep into politics, but I'm just more talking like, how are we supposed to vote? I don't know who to support in this election. I'm actually really concerned.
No, me too. I don't know what to do. I'm like totally confused by the whole thing.
Yeah, my first plan was just to move to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Imagine that. You were sitting on a beach alone.
Yeah.
Just saying how great everything was.
How great everything was. This is awesome.
And then the immovable
It's
object.
like, hey, Ozzy. Hey, Mike. Just hanging out.
What's up, Gina Carano?
What's up, Gina Carano?
Uncle Mike hiding in a fucking palm tree. I got him.
And then the rest of the normal-sized people blew away. And Dave was left on his own.
Like the rock giant from the Never-Ending Story.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
That's what they call your belt. He's going to punch me now.
No, but I mean, like I said, we're not going to get into politics, but it's all fucking.
Okay, our headline was our fearless leader of what used to be one of the most respected nations in the world.
Yeah.
Used a Sharpie to tell people a storm was going left instead of right when all the experts said otherwise.
Yeah.
The world is laughing at us, and I'm tired of it. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure everybody else is here too.
Yep.
So let's move on to somebody a lot less controversial. How's Michael Jackson doing?
Oh, man. It's Dave Chappelle.
Well, we covered it last week.
We
right?
did.
Yeah.
But my thing with I didn't have much to say about it because I just look at it. I'm just gonna say it this way: unpopular opinion. People have opinions,
Which they're allowed to have.
what they're allowed to have. Bottom line, and people complain about them. Complain about these opinions. Whether he's doing it for a joke or he actually believes in what he's saying, which I think he does. And I think some of it he might be right, to an extent. No, Michael Jackson was definitely diddling people. But the circumstances were definitely weird.
Of course they were weird.
I think the question, when it really comes down to it, the one thing we don't have anymore is the ability to question Michael Jackson's psyche.
Yeah.
He was never really clinically evaluated. Nobody ever held him to task. He just paid off everybody in such large sums of money.
Yeah.
He was pretty broke when he died. I mean, almost everything was in arrears. He had nothing left, I'm actually wondering if he didn't believe he was doing anything wrong.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he did. I think he was just like, what? This is
No,
good.
he did it, and he's guilty, and he should have been punished like a motherfucker.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm thinking in his head, he's like, what? I'm Michael Jackson.
Because I think it probably happened to him.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think of who raised him. Was Sammy Davis Jr. with his one good eye just leaning into his cock?
He was
I don't know.
blasted on cocaine with his one fucking good eye pointing in 9 different directions. Like, here, what you doing there, Michael?
I should ask that shitbox comedian that was at our fucking office event.
Yeah.
How well do you really know Sammy? Did he cha-cha-cha all the way down Michael's pants?
Yeah.
I need to know.
Sam Davis with his one eye.
Right.
Is that why Michael always twisted to the left?
Yeah.
Ow!
But the issue wasn't whether Michael Jackson did this shit or not. The issue was that Dave Chappelle, in his stand-up, questioned whether it's true or not. And from his opinion, like he's just saying, I don't believe these people making the accusations. Period. Now, last week when we mentioned it, I hadn't seen the special. I watched it this week.
It was outstanding.
It was really good. It was very reminiscent of some of his early stand-up. Now, watching the whole thing, the points, the things he said about Michael Jackson were setups for punchlines. If you're watching it,
Yeah.
Agreed.
they were jokes. And part of the storytelling he gave, he talked about
setups.
right. He talked about other comedians that have done that, but didn't quite hit it as well as he did.
Yep.
He didn't say it in those terms, but he brought up Kevin Hart and Louis C.K. and specifically about other issues. But everything he said was a setup for a punchline and a joke, and led him into other parts of his routine.
Yeah.
And like you said, Greg, whether he believes it or not, he probably believes it. Right? And if you ever watch Chappelle's show, he did a whole.
Well,
thing.
he's thought it because I mean, obviously he did. You know,
Right.
at some point.
Right, but I mean, even when he did Chappelle's show 10, 15 years ago, he did a whole bit about R. Kelly and Michael Jackson in the courtroom. He's like,
Yep.
and you know, he talked about he made Thriller, like he did the whole thing. He's on the stand, like So it was even then he was talking about it, but it's just it comes up now. It's 6 months after that HBO special.
Yeah.
And people are like, how can you say that about him? And he said some raunchy shit.
Yeah.
Now, do I think Michael Jackson was a pedophile? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I think Dave Chappelle was funny as a motherfucker? Yeah.
Yeah.
I can laugh at those jokes. I've got 3 kids. Do I think pedophilia is funny? No.
No.
But when you tell those jokes like that, that's funny as a motherfucker.
No, and
you know
it
what I'm
was.
saying? It's different.
It was funny. There was now a lot of people were hot about there's like a thing out there right now how it was one of the best stand-ups ever.
Nah,
it's
I
genius.
don't know about that.
It's not.
It's one of the best stand-ups in recent years, without a doubt.
No, I liked it a lot. There was a lot of downside to it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There was parts I didn't laugh. Like you listen to someone like Tom Segura, you're laughing from the second it starts to the second it ends. There was a lot of story in it, a lot of stuff. So you calm down, then the big laugh, then the setup, then the big laugh, and there was big laughs, you know, and I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I loved it. I listened to it. I mean, I watched it. I loved it. I like Dave Chappelle a lot. I think the guy's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And, but this whole thing is, like I said, it's all, he had an opinion on certain things, which mainly were to set up jokes. And people are jumping all over him. And then when it's starting to get washed away, then now they're hopping on the next thing.
I bet by the time this airs, they're talking about the jokes he made about school shootings.
Yeah. That's the next in line because they already started with the LGBTQ community.
Can we all just admit that we're being played and operated by Dave Chappelle? This is a guy who disappeared for how long was it? 12 years?
Yeah.
He didn't do stand-up for the longest goddamn time because he was burnt out by Hollywood and he was burnt out by the industry and he didn't want to do it. He wasn't feeling funny and he had made so much money hand over fist that he bought himself a really nice house in Cleveland where he lives and he enjoyed his life. And he almost lived like a monk.
Yeah.
And he sat around and he had his coffee and he didn't bother anyone and his neighbors left him alone. He stayed out of the spotlight. Then he decided 2 years ago, I'm going to start doing stand-up again. And he made a couple random appearances, and then he told Netflix, I'll give you my special if you don't censor me.
Yeah.
And they said, not only that, we'll give you 3.
We'll give you 3. And his first one was fucking outrageous. It was awesome.
See, I disagree.
I think
his first 2 specials back were 60% Dave Chappelle. And then 40% somebody we don't know, 40% Zen Dave. Or whatever. I thought
his first one was hilarious.
There was a manic, impulsive energy about his old comedy that wasn't there for those first 2 specials. I kind of found like he went for it on this one.
Yeah.
And he wasn't wall-to-wall funny, but that's because he's a storyteller. He can't be wall-to-wall funny. He's not a punchline comic.
No, he's a storyteller.
He's a storyteller. However, because I'm a cynic and because I look for the worst in everyone, what would any comedian want for a comedy special?
People to talk about it.
For how long?
As long as possible.
A lot fucking longer than most people talk about. I mean, I like Tom Segura, but you know what? There's 3 jokes that when people say, hey, do you like Tom Segura? I'll cite 3 jokes.
No.
He's got 3 hours worth of specials on television, and I can give you 3 jokes that I remember.
Not only that, he's I've asked people, oh, do you like Tom Segura? And they're like, who?
Is one of the funniest comedians.
One of the funniest fucking guys in the
world.
All
right, but funny talent and popularity are not the same thing.
No, I think what Brad's getting at is memorable.
Yeah, well, that's just it. Like Dave Chappelle's special is going to be remembered for everything he said.
Yes,
not just for one thing he said. You know, I got a billion comedy albums. We all do. Yeah. We all love this shit. You know, and we're trying to learn and we're trying to be like them. Truth is, almost everybody remembers 2 to 3 jokes from every album. Everybody's going to remember this special, controversial or not. He set up an absolute gem because what happens next? Well, I'm going to wait a while, and then I'm going to make another one.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what do you think is going to be the highest rated thing on fucking Netflix?
Yeah, because everybody's going to see what
What's
he
he
says.
going to say next?
Yeah.
He's playing us.
Yep.
He's a smart motherfucker. He's
Yes,
a
he is.
talented comic. But the guy made so much money in spite of himself that he literally said, fuck you to this industry for 12 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then he came back and said, Netflix, fucking pay me. I'm running out of fucking fuck you money.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. So,
Yeah, no.
As somebody who admires the industry, my Dave, my head is tipped.
I was just
Tip
gonna
your
say.
hat.
I was just gonna say, my hat is tipped.
But as somebody who thinks he's being genuine, I don't. Actually, I don't think he's being genuine. I think he manufactured some of that hostility.
Yeah.
And I think it was designed to get conversation going. He might believe Michael Jackson's innocent. I don't think he believes he's entirely innocent.
Right.
But he portrayed it.
No. Yeah.
Now
yeah,
I can understand the skepticism that comes along when you see people come out and make these public accusations, film this HBO special 12 years after someone dies.
Yeah.
Like, I get that. Like, why did you wait so long?
Yeah. In his first one, he talked about OJ. He did all that.
Yeah.
All
Wait a
that
minute.
shit.
Time out. I don't mean to interrupt. But the numbers line up. Michael Jackson died 12 years ago. Dave Chappelle tapped out 12 years ago. Maybe he really does believe in this.
Yeah. He hasn't watched the news. He hasn't seen nothing. Yeah.
Fucking revelations on Needless to Say.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dave. Continue.
No, it's fine. I'm used to you interrupting.
I'm used to you interrupting my view of that
Yeah.
window.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Damn it.
Oh, man.
You don't have to apologize. Just turn left. You can use one eye to see past your nose.
And a pole vault.
Yeah. So, no, I think that with any kind of comic or bit you do, whatever, there's some foundation in truth. So he probably, like you said, Craig,
Yeah.
believes a little bit of this, but at the same time, you can't believe all of it.
Whether he believes it or not, he thought it
Yeah,
and then thought, hey, this could be funny.
right.
I'm going to talk about it.
What sucks is I mentioned it before, like, Thriller is kind of ruined for me for Halloween. I still
the
love
fuck?
that song. Do you
I
know what
do
mean?
too, and I hate when I hear a song.
I hate that I like
and
it.
I'm like, hey, I like this tune. I'm like, fucking scumbag.
Right.
You know?
We should just do a pervert playlist and
Right?
publish it on Spotify.
Yeah.
And it's like Thriller and like all of R. Kelly's pissy slow jams.
Yeah, a couple of fucking Who songs. Well, no, sorry. Pete Townsend was doing fucking research. He wasn't actually looking at the kiddie porn.
And apparently Craig was doing research because the last time he called him Robert Townsend.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did, right?
That's right. Meteor Man.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of pedos, we got another headline.
All right. Before you go there, I'm gonna stop you.
All right.
I think before we get away from Chappelle,
Yep.
we are all fans of comedy. I think we should acknowledge
Absolutely.
the fact that we still appreciate the jokes that he's making and the time and effort he put into what he's doing.
100%.
We don't need to agree with everything he says, but we can appreciate the humor behind it.
I'll go one step further.
I agree
sup-
with everything you said.
I'm not saying that.
I'm just kidding.
That fucker ain't innocent. But I'll say I support Dave Chappelle's comedy.
Yes.
Okay, one of the
Yeah.
things, when you looked at him 25 years ago when he was just breaking in, everybody said, Dave Chappelle, I like this guy. He's fearless and he's different. And then when he had his own show and he did a skit show and everybody's like, oh, it's just going to be another fucking Saturday Night Live with a little more edge, whatever. And then you know what he did? Something that was fearless and different.
He started with a blind black white supremacist.
Yes.
You know what I thought?
And he
was-
ended, the best skit he ever did, in my opinion, was when he went on a car ride with Wayne Brady.
Yes. Oh my God.
That was... Is Wayne Brady going to slap a bitch?
Give me a sandwich, Dave.
And he literally started out the whole thing by pointing out that Wayne Brady was not your typical black guy. And then he played into every stereotype possible. And it was one of the funniest fucking things. It was like 6 minutes long, and it was worth every second. Yep. And I think that's why I think Dave Chappelle is playing all of us.
And props to Wayne Brady, who recognized what was going on.
Yeah.
Wayne Brady is he's a what's the word I'm looking like?
Black guy.
No. No, he's a network television guy.
Oh, you started that sound. I'm like, no. Oh.
No, he's a network.
I was just going to say he was like ABC. He was blackish.
Yeah. No, he's a daytime network television guy who's
he's like a game show host.
Yeah, who's wholesome fun.
He's polished.
Who's polished and went on to say, you know what? Yeah, I'll do that. Fuck that.
And by the way,
because he's a comedian.
He also fucks every stereotype we make fun of.
Yeah.
Because he's everything that every other black guy isn't. And that's why all black comedians make fun of Wayne Brady, but it's secretly they all kind of want to be Wayne Brady.
Well, that's because Wayne Brady's a white guy. He just looks black.
Yeah.
It's like Tom Jones. I didn't know Tom Jones was black until like I was 18.
Tom Jones is black?
Yeah, there
I
you
didn't
go.
know that.
Well, it's not unusual. That's right. Dad jokes.
But the other thing was fucking all the people that are complaining about Chappelle all tuned into his show because they were huge fans of the Chappelle show, which was way more offensive than what he said.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't offensive to me.
All right, but he didn't put out Chappelle Show during a hashtag movement.
That's the thing.
No, but that's the thing.
It's trendy now to be offended.
It's trendy to be offended.
Did you do some research?
No.
Have you looked into this a little bit?
What? No.
You just used the word trendy correctly in
Well,
a
he
sentence.
said it.
Oh.
Yeah. He said it, so I just backed it up.
You just piled on.
Yeah, I just piled on. Why? He killed people, right?
I don't pay attention until they're dead, and then I mock them.
No, but you're right. Like it's trendy now to be offended and be a victim.
Yeah.
Back then, it was still trendy to be fans of something that was edgy and controversial.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it was okay to be like, I like the guy who says the thing that is wrong. And I'm
Right.
putting so many air quotes up, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's like, no, you don't want to be in that community that wants the edgy stuff. You want to fall into the straight and narrow.
Yeah, exactly.
This is getting so fucking Orwellian, it's ridiculous.
I mean, is it the next stop is Leave It to Beaver, Separate Twin Breads? You know what I mean? Like everybody's.
No,
like
I find
the
that
50s,
insulting to mammals.
No, but it's like, what is it supposed to be like the 50s? Everybody walking around and accepting. Well, no, it wouldn't be like the 50s.
No.
Yeah.
It would be the facade of the 50s.
Yeah, exactly.
Like when in Indiana Jones in that terrible Crystal Skull movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that area where he landed in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Like with the mannequins, that was the society that we expected.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so you were speaking of pedophiles, Craig.
I was.
The conversation's got some teeth to it.
So, a Catholic school removed all the Harry Potter books from the shelves, claiming that the book spells are real.
All of them.
All of them.
All of them.
And then if they're spoken by a human, they could conjure demonic presence and demonic spirits.
So, like, if you've done books on tape, you're fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly the first thing that popped into my head was fucking Audible is fucked. That studio is so haunted. Right now.
Anyone that's ever watched one of those movies.
What the fuck? It's so stupid.
I just love that it's coming from the Catholic Church. It's like pedophiliarmus.
Yeah. Right? I mean, the only I don't understand. It's so fucking ridiculous.
The actual quote that came from the article was, the curses and spells used in the books are actual curses and spells, which, when read by a human being, risk conjuring evil spirits into the presence of the person reading the texts.
Yep.
This is like Mayan bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay,
But-
literally, like you found a scroll in a cave underneath something that was
Yeah.
covered in moss and hidden by a bunch of people with plates in their lips.
Yeah.
Where you had to dodge 19 rounds of blow darts to get there.
Yeah.
Like, this is the kind of thinking that is coming from the modern day Catholic Church. So, Catholic defenders, fight me on this. Give me some argument that makes this make sense. Go.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I'm going to let Craig talk.
My thing is, I find it fucking insane. Once you throw a couple of Latin words together to come up with something for light or whatever, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And it's...
I'm pretty sure her spell for turning on a light or lighting a fire was like Illuminatus.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I'm pretty sure that's Latin. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She used a couple of Latin words.
Latin-ish.
Latin-ish words, yeah. To make this fucking fantasy world.
Yeah.
The same world they're living in. An exact, like, I don't know. It blows.
I disagree. Harry would not take 3 days to move a rock and come back.
No, and not only that,
he actually died and came back within 10 minutes in the last movie.
If I was Harry Potter, the series would have ended in the second movie when he finally got the invisibility cloak, because I'd just be in Hermione's room, like, hanging out every night.
Have you seen her? She's got a hairy muff.
In the girls' locker room with that fucking invisibility
I
cloak.
love that chick, but she had trouble getting out of limos.
Yeah.
She was always in short skirts and deep limos.
Yep.
And she had a bit of a 70s appreciation going on.
Yeah.
I wouldn't quite call it, as Craig likes to term it, hair panties. But it wasn't exactly a landing strip either. It was kind of like the 401 freeway.
Yeah.
She had herself a trimmed but substantial bush. Getting out of
her.
Well, hey, if that's how you want to roll, okay? If friction is your game, Hermione is her name.
Bruchiatus.
Exfoliatus.
Her wand is just like big long comb.
Harry Potter 9 is set in Brazil.
Dave made a great point about the spells.
What about them?
No, you were saying, I mean, how do they know?
Oh, how do they know they're real? Like, have they dabbled and tried them out?
Yeah.
Like, they're looking at these. They must have seen or done something, or they're just.
I'm sure there's
shit.
a Catholic quality control committee.
Is there in the Vatican library? Is there a whole fucking book from Hogwarts that they got like downstairs?
I actually think if you yell Expelliarmus, all storms are redirected to Alabama. That wasn't a Sharpie; it was a wand.
It chose him. Yeah. That copy chose him.
It's because his wife was huffing it, trying to forget where her life went.
But the best, I was thinking, like, Trump said one out loud and then stood at the fucking Halloween display at Home Depot and said, "See, it's real. It does work."
Best spell ever.
Best spell ever. Look, pirate ship, ghost pirate ship, giant pumpkins. We're all gonna die, especially Alabama.
He's gonna come back and be like, "Yeah, that map wasn't for this storm. That was just eventually a storm is going to hit Alabama." That's gonna be his argument. He's gonna be like, "Yeah, in like 2028, there's gonna be a hurricane that just like transcends the fucking Gulf and just destroys Alabama." He's gonna be like, "Told you."
My meteorologist is so fantastic. They knew the storm 10 years before it happened.
Yeah,
amazing.
This is my favorite segment ever. Hating on our president and Catholics.
Yeah. But it's just so ridiculous. And I mean,
it was one school.
You know what? I'm gonna say this. They didn't say that they were banned from the campus. If kids were reading them, they weren't taking them out of their hands. It's just they were removed from the library
and then slapping them with rulers.
And then which is bullshit.
Yep.
Because people caught on and were like, "Are you fucking serious, Harry Potter?"
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And they're like, oh shit, we better back up on this. Especially the books have been out for how long?
Yeah.
So millions of demons have been summoned to that school.
Oh, I have no doubt.
But oh yeah, exactly.
On your knees.
No, the guy was like, I'm gonna ban book 3 through 7 because at that point he was 15 and it was worthless.
Oh my God.
We're gonna stick from 12 to 14.
If there's hair on the field, no prey ball.
Yeah. He's like, I got the golden snitch right here.
See, that's funny because the snitch is the one thing you don't want.
Yeah.
In a Catholic school.
Oh my God.
I have no doubt he was golden, though.
Yeah.
Layers of piss that came from those pervert priests.
Jesus Christ.
I accused the fucking furniture dealers of pissing each other's mouths. You don't think I'm going to say it about the priests?
Yeah.
Fuck those guys.
Everybody else is.
As long as you're a wizard.
I was just thinking, wouldn't it be amazing if R. Kelly finds Jesus in prison, becomes a minister?
I'm more concerned if R. Kelly finds Voldemort.
Oh shit! But the whole thing to me, I find it ridiculous. It's a fantasy book written by a woman who, it was just like, this
She was
is
practically homeless when she read it.
Yeah.
Read it. Wow.
Wow,
That
you're
happened.
all fucking falling off.
Craig
the
is
rails.
contagious.
And I am so glad I'm hanging out with you. It's just making it worse. and
That's
worse.
great. I'm glad you're saying, take this the fuck out.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. She was practically homeless. She wasn't quite homeless. There was like a rumor going around she was literally living in a coffee
Yeah,
shop.
no, she wasn't.
She wasn't, but she was going to a coffee shop every day and writing bedtime stories for her kids. And she wrote arguably
Instead of looking for a job. What a fucking loser.
I've never known anybody to choose fantasy over employment.
She tried praying, but no one wanted to listen.
Yeah.
It's harder to type on your knees. Just ask the altar boy. Anyway, I think she came up with a world that was actually so grounded in reality it was ridiculous.
Yep.
And if there's anything that actually scares the Catholic Church more than anything, it's reality.
It's reality.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So
And it's good.
I read them all. I read them all.
I read them all. I've watched all the movies. And I did when it first came out, I didn't watch it. My wife read the first book, and she's like, "Oh, I want to see the movie. I want to see." So I said, "All right." I was like, because I've been thinking it was a kids,
And it was.
but
you grew up with the kids and you watched them turn into real people.
Even the first one, when it was over, I was like, "That was fun. It was a fun movie. It was cool." It was very much a lot of the stuff.
I
that
watched
I liked.
the first movie and then I read all of the books.
That's what happened.
that
with
were
me.
still out or that were out at that time.
Yeah.
And then I took Melissa to go see the movie, and I also bought the last book the day it came out. I waited in line.
I did too.
I think she stumbled on something that everybody can relate to. Everybody's been in school. Everybody's felt like an outcast. Everybody's felt like they were at the top of the heap and then also at the bottom of the rung.
Yep.
Everybody felt like they didn't know how to have their first kiss. This was the best coming-of-age story in the history of stories.
It was a coming-of-age, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars fucking type movie all wrapped into one
We almost made it.
package. What?
Almost did it. Almost got through an episode without you bringing up the rest of the nerd talk.
No, but it was. It was all wrapped up into this one package that it was good. There was, I don't know. I loved him. And
I wish he had that one where he had his first kiss and then he had to use his wand to keep his other wand.
is that your wand?
Boner
in your,
downers.
Is that your wand in your pocket? Or see him stand there, his invisibility cloak, and you see this little piece of cloth poke out the front.
Just a little pecker floating in the air.
Yeah.
Flaccidarium.
Oh, shit. But if you had an invisibility cloak, would you have ran to Hagrid's first or the fucking girls' locker room?
I don't know. Did you see that girl's bathroom? There was a troll in it at one point.
That's cool. As a 14-year-old kid, I would have fought a troll to see a tit.
That's fair. I can't say that I argue with him.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. But the way they made those bathrooms look in that movie, I was like, who would shit there? I would magically make my shit go away.
Dave would just shit by walking through it.
Just a trail of shit behind invisibility, nothing. Just magically forming on the floor.
Dave would be chilling with giant spiders in the
Shittiest
woods.
I would need an invisibility train.
Yeah.
Invisibility depends.
Yeah.
He's
just walking around. You see most of Dave's torso. And then just a gap and a smell.
To see fucking Ron and Harry eating those jelly beans on the train, and they're like, "Oh, that would taste like shit." And Dave's just smiling in the corner.
Those are just jelly bellies.
Oh man,
that's just fructose and natural flavoring, motherfucker.
All right, we just spent a lot of time talking about Harry Potter.
Yeah, we did. It's your fault too.
It is.
It's totally
I'll
your
take
fault.
it.
Do me a favor and let me know when the show's supposed to make sense. I'll be a lot more focused.
There's a group of people that are pretty much the same group of people that are afraid of Harry Potter.
Yeah. and people that we've discussed before.
Yeah.
That had an event last weekend.
It happened.
It did happen.
I guess you can call it an event.
Yeah.
It happened. What they planned happened.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was enough people to qualify as an event from their perspective, but go ahead.
It wasn't enough people to qualify as a family reunion.
Right.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Straight Pride Parade in Boston. We covered this about 2, maybe 3 months ago.
Yeah. Because it was when they first announced it. But what was it called? Super Happy Fun Time Parade or whatever the fuck?
It was the Super Happy Fun America.
Yes.
Gay. I think that is a...
I've said it before. I'll say it again.
Well, gay or Japanese. Either way, it wasn't a very American thing.
No.
That's how something in Japan would label like candy.
Yeah.
Super Happy Fun Tooth Decay.
Yeah. With like bubble cartoons, like happy, all of a sudden smiling giant. Yeah.
Big teeth showing like, yep. With the sun rays behind him.
Yeah, well, that's just, there's like 5 clouds booing me, and it's because I bought the wrong toilet paper. That's what happens in Japan. It's a weird fucking place.
That's one thing I love about New York City is you can find those markets.
Do yourself a favor and go to Tokyo.
Yeah, no. But
and then you can actually buy panties from a girl you might recognize.
Yeah. I walked into a store. It's like Japanese, Chinese, or Korean, whatever it is in New York City.
Way to not be racist.
No, I don't know what it was. I can't read
Welcome
their writing.
To 1968, Craig.
I can't read their writing.
It was an Oriental store. I don't know.
But I walked in there, and they had the
Can
best
I just change your
thing
name
I
to
ever ate
Rice
in my
Patty?
life. No, it had the best thing I ever ate in my life. It was a pink package. I'm like, those look like Kit Kats. And at the bottom, I see it, Kit Kat. So I bought them. They were raspberry Kit Kats.
Way to read, buddy.
What? And I was amazed. So I ate
It said
one.
Kit Kat, and they were Kit Kats. And he was shocked that they were Kit
No,
Kats.
the package looked like a Kit Kat. And even
And that writing fucking confirmed it.
Was in the same...
So what were you
like
expecting
style.
that you were shocked that it was actually a Kit Kat?
No, like I was... When I grabbed the package and I looked at the back and it said Kit Kat on it. So I was like, oh, I grabbed them just to try them. Like, raspberry Kit Kats? What the fuck is this? So me and my wife went to the hotel after. I ate them and then immediately walked down, took the elevator down, walked back to the store and bought like 18 packages. Because I was like, I'll never see these again. So I'm bringing them all fucking home.
Do you know what's sad, though, is that you don't know whether to go back to Japan, China, or Korea.
No, I don't. I don't. But all I know is it's on West 52nd Street. I know exactly where the store is. It's on West 52nd, and I will go back.
That's actually the Convergence. That's what we call that neighborhood. It's like the Venn diagram of all Asian stereotypes.
It's little
all ends
Asia.
up at that little fucking bodega where you bought a pink Kit Kat and were thrilled that you read the words Kit Kat.
It was psyched. It was just a 15-year-old Kit Kat they rebranded.
Yeah.
That wasn't pink. It was sun-bleached orange.
It was good. They were fucking delicious.
Is that raspberry? No, stale.
Yeah.
But you didn't know because you don't speak Chinese/Japanese/Korean.
No. The funny thing was, the whole time I was in there buying, the lady looked pissed. Like I shouldn't have been in there.
You shouldn't have been in there.
What'd you do? Like squint your eyes and bow when you saw it?
I thought about bowing. I did think about bowing when I left.
You called Fran and had her play a gong over the phone.
Kid walked in and put his shoes on the counter. Where your raspberry Kit Kats at, Oriental lady? Snap, snap. Here, I have my shirt while I'm shopping.
$2.99. No can defend.
Oh my god, dude, that killed me.
91-year-old woman in there behind the register is sweeping the leg.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh shit. Oh my god.
So straight people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's get in the straight
Yeah,
people.
what happened? We went way off the rails.
How many straight Vietnamese were there?
Yeah.
All of them.
That just adds a whole new wrinkle.
All of them. The Asians don't wrinkle.
Yeah. The hair's straight, the skin's straight, everything's straight.
They peak at 5'2" and then start shrinking again.
All right, so straight people.
So straight white people.
Straight white people decided to throw a parade.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
we joked about them planning it months ago.
The worst part was they put all the typical straight white people shit in it.
Of course they did.
They didn't. They provoked.
It's almost like they went out and went the full white Republican stereotype
Yeah,
route.
they
You
were
know
like,
what I mean?
this is what we're gonna do. Instead of just doing something, whatever. I mean, it was stupid to begin with, but instead of just doing, they were like, we're gonna provoke. We're gonna make it as fucking.
Yeah, and there were people that had signs like, we support the troops and this and that. Like, they tried to make a lot of stuff that was irrelevant to race, sexuality, whatever, about one thing, which was fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. And my thing was, a bunch of shit broke out. There was a bunch of arrests. I think that like 30-something people got arrested because there was clashes all over the place. They had counter protesters come out and do all this shit. And I just thought it would have been better if you ask me, if the LGBTQ community ignored it completely and didn't even show up.
Yeah.
To me, and ignored it like it never happened and never mentioned it and didn't tweet about it.
Let these 35 idiots walk down the street
let
by
these
themselves.
dummies-
That's just it. You validated them by complaining.
by complaining. And that was, I think it would have been so much better if no one showed up and nobody stood out there with the sign and nobody did anything. Would have made them feel like fucking idiots.
What did they
that
want?
They are.
They
were
wanted
idiots.
the attention.
They wanted
That's all
attention,
they
and you
wanted.
gave it to them.
Yep.
And you know, I understand that, like, when you're kids, your parents always say, if you ignore a bully, they'll go away. Okay, and I think as much as that logic wasn't sound when you were getting your head thrown into a locker,
Yeah.
it kind of makes sense here.
In a public forum, it makes a lot more sense.
If you don't acknowledge that they exist, then they don't fucking matter.
Yeah. If they don't get the attention they sought out, it's not going to happen.
And the city of Boston is liberal enough that they should have known better. I mean, they got their pockets. I get it. But it's one of the most gay-friendly cities I've ever been to.
No, even the mayor of Boston spoke out against it. Like,
which was also dumb.
He didn't specifically mention that parade. He said, I hope everyone else does like me and goes out and enjoys like a neighborhood block party or a barbecue or this or that.
Yeah, instead of going. Yeah.
But he's drawing attention to the big elephant that wasn't in the room. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. So what would have happened if they did get no-showed? What happens if all of these absolute attention-seeking, arrogant pricks decided, oh my God, nobody's here? What do they do then? Do they try to make it bigger and lash out against people to draw that attention? Or do they just curl up and die? Because sadly, I think it's the former.
Yeah, I don't think they go away.
No.
They're looking to make a point.
They're trying to make a point.
They either move on to another city or they try this again in a few months.
Well, they got balls for starting in Boston.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And in a weird roundabout way, I kind of admire them because they didn't like go for Des Moines, where they probably would have had a lot more support. They went right to one of the most liberal states in the world.
One of the bluest states in the country.
Exactly. Yep. And they went right at it. I give them credit. I think New York would have overwhelmed them.
Oh, yeah.
But they went to Boston. Outside of Washington, I can't think of any place that they would have been, or Seattle, I can't think of any place they would have been received.
You know what, the logic, if you think about it a little more, if you pick one of the most liberal cities you can think of, they're going to let you have your parade.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you try to do this someplace else where the city knows there might be issues, they might shut you down.
It's 100% their right to have this parade.
It is.
I think the Seattle people would have let them hang themselves.
The city let them have it, and they gave them.
I support that.
Yeah, they gave them the police presence they needed and that sort of stuff, which is why we had the arrests.
That.
Sure.
It's their right to do it. I think that if it was completely ignored, the news stations that were out there would have been like, nothing's fucking happening. There's no one here. It would have went from, hey, Straight Pride had their parade today, on to the next story.
Yeah, no one showed for the Straight Pride parade to support it.
No, and even
how about the weather?
Even if the street was lined with straight people, supporting them, it wouldn't have been a big deal. It would have been a parade.
Yeah, they wanted the
parade
conflict.
Is the news.
That wasn't a line of people. That was the bus.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying
it's the line for communion.
But I'm saying it wouldn't. There was no if there was no conflict, there would be no reason for it to be.
There's
in
no
the
story.
News.
Yeah.
There's
no story. There's no conflict.
Other than 1:30 in the morning, quick talk because.
All right, but there were 30 arrests. Let's get to that.
Well, yeah.
What was the 30 arrests? Was it all counter protesters?
I hope not. To be honest with you, I hope one gay dude wailed on one of those manly men and got arrested. Because that would be the best thing ever. I hope some gay dude pounded on some guy. Wailed his fucking
I'm sure he pounded on some guy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, I'm talking about during the parade. Yeah.
Still not specific enough.
Yeah. Back in the parade at the front.
But what I would have loved is if he did it wearing whites that were whiter than the guy. Yeah. Like Clorox was filming a fucking ad hoc commercial, right there.
No, I mean,
we all like white Clorox.
Oh shit! No, it's just fucking stupid. The whole thing, on both sides, to be honest. In my opinion, on both sides.
The people that showed up to protest at this point have contributed as much to that issue as the people that.
Well, that's just it. Yeah, I mean, go get a job, all of you.
Yeah,
all of you, just go to fuck to work.
Yeah.
Okay, pay your bills, keep your lights on, buy food, and have your opinions, and end it there. Like, just have your opinions. Not everybody needs to know it. Parades and protests are equally offensive.
Yeah.
Yes. Tell that to the 4th of July committee.
And they get nothing done.
No.
They get nothing done. None.
When was the last parade you went to that said, holy shit, that changed my mind?
None. And kudos to the founding fathers who were like, we'll allow protest.
Yeah.
Because we won't do anything about it, but we'll let them go in the street and complain about it.
Sure.
Make them feel like they're doing something about it.
And then kudos to the guy who had the first parade.
Yeah.
Because when you're like waking up in the morning and like there's a whole bunch of fucking marching bands in front of you, you're impressed.
Yeah.
Okay, but then the world evolved.
Yep.
Get over this shit.
Nah, it's fucking ridiculous. The whole fucking... It's all shenanigans. It's all shenanigans.
Is that an Irish joke?
Yeah, it's Boston. Yeah.
Racist.
All right, let's move on to something more intelligent.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you got?
What? The robot strippers?
Yeah. Perfect.
I believe that's it.
Yeah.
And even if it wasn't, that's always a good answer.
It at least took smart people to build them.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, at some point, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenal melange of Chinese, Japanese, and Korean technology.
So,
Tell me this is a real thing.
it is. The robot strippers are set to make their debut in a small town in France.
All right.
I don't want to... Nantes? Is that how you pronounce it?
It's probably like Nantes or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But let's go with Nantes because it rhymes with France and pants.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Yeah, I have no idea. But yeah, so they're gonna have these robot strippers attached to poles. Now,
Wait. Attached like permanently?
I hope so.
By the way, have you met a stripper? Most of them are. Right?
One pole or another.
They're like apes going through like a fucking maze. Yeah. There's never a hand off of it. It's effortless and fluid, which is maybe not the word I want to use, but all right.
But yeah, so apparently they're still going to have regular strippers on the main stage.
Okay.
But the side stage is going to be these robots. But the funny thing is...
Wait, time out. How do you feel if you're Chantal and you're already working the breakfast shift and you just got bumped for fucking C-3PO?
By a
C3.
You were working the legs and eggs shift to begin with, and all of a sudden you get bumped.
Here comes Chastity 3000. Exactly. Corner.
She's got exposed ball joints, and that's more titillating to the people of Nantes, France. This isn't one of those hoity-toity white-collar French communities, is it?
I'm just picturing a French strip club full of Japanese guys.
Bunch of Honda dealers trying to buy Peugeot.
Everyone's dressed like they're in a Jackie Chan movie. Yeah. Chris Tucker's yelling at all of them.
Yeah. By the way, that's Jacques Chan.
All right.
Yeah.
Jacques Chan.
Oh, shit. But they said all they did is they took these rough robots that like it's not like they're not fancy.
So now DMX is involved.
No,
we got black ghetto robot strippers in France dance for a bunch of Japanese businessmen.
It's the greatest headline we've ever
The
done.
story's getting better by the minute.
Do you want to dance $20?
All right, but do it, but say euro.
Yeah. No, they got. Apparently, they still.
Honk on my francs.
This is DMX and this fucking guy sounds like he's choking on glass. They still have these. They got cameras for heads. They're not. They have no heads.
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck is happening?
And the bodies are made up of mannequin parts, and you can still see all the servo joints, like where the elbows are and stuff. It's a fucking supposed to be an artistic thing. The artist that created it said, I'm doing it to show some. I don't know. I didn't pay attention because there's strippers. I wasn't paying attention to her bullshit because it was bullshit. Because you know those things, no matter what, are gonna have jizz on them.
You got a regular mannequin.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's not one outfit I've ever touched in Target.
Yeah.
Or as they say in Nance, Target.
Well, my only thing is, I kept thinking, you could never wear fucking jogging pants at that place again. Like, no more sweatpants for a lap dance in there. Just grind your dick right off.
The whole stage covered in nuts and bolts instead of 1s and 5s.
Yeah.
Torn flesh. The whole show floor is torn scrotum.
Everybody's just running out the door screaming.
Nerd bash the parties finally have a place to go.
Yeah.
This one robot refuses to grind her twat on the pole. She's become self-aware. Johnny Five alive.
When you walk in, you pay $10 so you can tip them with an oil can. You're like, what the
It's a bunch of guys buying Valvoline. Yeah.
No, honey, it's just motor oil on my pants. What are you talking about? I'm fine.
Do you know what's scary is that
She
no matter...
leans in and whispers in your ear, 00100111100.
Oh, that is way better than what I was going to say. Oh, that's perfect. Are you straight, robot? No, I'm binary. Some city in France, they start a fucking one's pride parade. I actually have a theory about this. Despite all of this nonsense, I actually said Johnny Five alive.
Yep.
I actually think this is a marketing plan. I think they're putting cameras inside the eyes of these. I don't think it's just. I don't think it's a fucking camcorder on top of a body.
Pretty much, it is. It's a monitor. It is, and that's the person who set it up said it's there for a reason. Like that's part of the artistic thing. It doesn't have eyes and stuff. I don't know. It's fucking weird. It's stupid.
I just think they're actually filming strip club customers and trying to figure out what actually turns them on. And I think there's somebody funding this to find out a way to do that.
Probably.
The first strip club funded by the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
All the mannequins are 3 feet 2 inches tall.
Yeah.
All have rubber knees.
It's just a flashlight on top of a vacuum, on top of a vacuum cleaner. One of those hoovers with the headlights.
See, I was going somewhere with that, but no, we're not.
No, but you're probably right.
No,
if they're set up to have heads as cameras,
Yeah.
there's something more than just being some artistic expression. There's
Yeah.
more to it than that.
Because they still have the real girls on stage as well.
Right.
I
Now,
still can't believe that. To me, is the most insulting thing of all.
The real
no, the
girls.
more insulting thing is the crowd of people sitting in front of the mannequins instead of the live chicks.
Well, that's just
Yeah.
there's some weird, like, hot-titted bartender over on the right getting ignored because the fucking headless wonder over there seems to put out more and doesn't demand fucking 20s just for looking at you,
Yep.
which is a big strip club problem in New York, in Boston, and apparently in Nantes, France. All I know is I'd get stuck with the hairy one. I have no doubt.
I just get that one guy's like, That robot really likes me. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm going to save her.
I'm going to save her. I felt something. We had a connection. An HDMI connection. We had one.
They all end up with rusty bullet holes.
Yeah.
Their psychologists just start throwing out 404 errors.
Everyone in Nance France has now become circumcised.
Nance France, we're still calling it that.
I see London. I see Nance. I see metallic underpants. All right. Can we get into the roundup / Brightside?
Yes.
Sure, let's do it.
Oh, this one's good.
It is good.
This one's good. If you did it all for the Nookie, it's been a hell of a week for you.
Yep.
Yes.
As it turns out, Fred Durst, he of Limp Bizkit, of the Limp Bizkit Dursts. Fred Durst, as it turns out, is now a filmmaker.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't act surprised. None of us knew it.
No.
It's not news. But Fred Durst made a new movie, and it starred the one and the only, the inimitable John Travolta. And it made a grand total of $3,000 over the course of 52 screens.
52.
It averaged how much per movie?
$60.
$60
per theater.
Per theater.
That's 3 people and a small popcorn.
Oh no, snacks don't matter.
Yeah.
3
If
and a
they
half.
factored in the popcorn, there was like the Travoltas showed up. And maybe the Dursts. And I don't even mean his illegitimate children, just the ones that acknowledge themselves as Dursts.
How
He dropped one of
embarrassing
his
is that?
toupees in every movie.
How embarrassing is that?
That's rough.
It's rough.
Now, there
But-
have been movies before that have made like 0 or less money than that.
But never with this star.
Never.
power.
No.
No.
Listen to me, Travolta. Durst.
Well, there have-
star power.
No.
There have been big
No.
names in movies that have fucking bombed like
That
this.
have bombed out of the money that they put into it. Not made a total of $3,000.
Okay.
That's the thing. So you're thinking on the scale of they made this movie for $2 million and it only brought in, 100,000. That's a bomb. This is a fucking Zabamba. This is the biggest fucking nuclear bomb ever detonated on the planet.
All of those Chinese / Japanese / Korean people are ducking right now.
Yeah.
Because they're worried about this nuclear bomb.
But the whole thing when we saw this, we all laughed out loud extremely hard at both of these guys. What would be the title of a good movie for Fred Durst and John Travolta to make?
There wouldn't be one, but let's go with this.
If this collaboration somehow grows fruit.
Yes.
It's not growing hair follicles.
Yeah.
Or talent for that matter. But
Or
we'll
talent, yeah.
keep going down this road.
go.
All right. Mine wasn't a movie, but you know what? It's arguably one of the most memorable Travolta joints. So I'm going to say if Fred Durst got with John Travolta, they're going to make Welcome Back Wigger.
I was thinking more lines of Grease Fire.
I thought of Battlefield, who cares?
Look who's rapping.
Gulp Fiction.
How about the Thin Red track line?
Was he in that?
He was in that.
I had the untalented boy in the plastic bubble.
Chocolate starfish and hot dog flavored water. These are a few of my favorite things.
I would see that just to have the ticket stub.
How about hairpiece?
What movie was that?
Hairspray.
Oh, he was in Hairspray?
He was in Hairspray.
Yeah. I don't go to the movies. I realize. But I know that I would have gone to see Saturday Night Fever from AIDS complications.
And what? Where? The closet.
Wow, well done, sir.
Game over. Game over. I never thought somebody would top AIDS complications as a punchline. And Craig just did it. So we're good.
Perfect.
Dave, I know you had two more. Nobody cares.
No, I don't care either.
Nobody cares.
Nope.
Let's wrap it up. All right. You want to catch us on social media? Like AIDS complications? At NTS_podcast on Twitter, at NTS_no_podcast on Facebook, and at Needless to Say podcast, all lowercase, on Instagram. We will be back there soon, I promise. You want to catch our merchandise at represent.com/store/NTS podcast. We got new stuff coming soon. Now that Matt and Rayanne have been on, I got about 9-10 shirts coming. I just need their permission. And that's it. I also want to thank everybody over at Endeavor Podcast Solutions for continuing to support this train wreck. Whether we have 9 people in here or just us 3, the results are the same. Basically, if you have like a diving boat in California, this is what it ends up looking like. There was seriously 15 feet of water, and they took them 4 days to find 9 bodies.
Everyone that leaves the show is wet and burned.
Anyway, anything else, boys?
I got nothing else.
Nothing here.
All right. You know what? Because I cannot love last week's episode more. One more thanks in the middle to Matt and Ray for that.
Absolutely.
And also to Uncle Ray, who made it all happen.
Hell yeah.
Uncle Ray.
And then Dave, because you're married to his daughter, take us out.
Needless to say, we said it.